how they work. But there's also I didn't tell you all this, I'm a conservatorship worker, but there's also things called FAD workers, which is foster and adopt, and what those workers do, they license foster parents. And they're kind of like a case manager for a foster parent. That's their total job, to license that home. Then you have adoption workers. How many people can guess what an adoption worker does? They do adoptions. When we get to a case that's ready to go to adoption, we ship it to another unit, and they do adoptions. That's all they do. They see the family. They still have to go to the home and see the kids. They have to see the caregivers, but all they do is work on getting that home ready to adopt those children. So it's probably one of the best jobs in the department, also probably one of the hardest to get, and probably one of the easiest to do. There's also, we have what's called family group conferences, and what that is, you have a convener, and she's a equal part. She don't have any interest in the case. All she's up there is to get the information and try to come up with a plan to send the kids home, or sometimes that's not the case, send the kids home, but most of the time that's what we're looking at initially is what I told y'all. But her job is to help all the parties, have communication. She's just a biased person, unbiased. And so that way the parents feel like their input is just as important as ours, because it is. I'll be honest with you, if we didn't get input from parents, we wouldn't be doing a very good job as workers, because who knows the family best, us or them? Them. They know what they need. They know the services they need. We're just there basically to guide them to the services they need. But, I know there's probably places where they don't feel like their input is important. That's not the right way to take. And the kids' input's important, because the kids know their parents better than we know their parents. They know the strengths, they know the weaknesses, they know what needs to be improved in their family, and that's important. So there's various different jobs within the department versus just being a caseworker. Being an invest worker is probably the hardest job, because you're the one that initiates everything, you see everything first. And to be quite honest with you, it's probably the most dangerous job too. Second would be a CVS caseworker, which is what my unit does. My job is a little easier because I'm just kind of telling people what to do. Basically they come to me, give me information, I help them make decisions. I couldn't tell you the last time I've been in a home, in a child's home, because this is not my part of the system. But I do talk to parents. Mostly when I talk to parents, it's because they have a complaint about something, but I'm very fortunate, I don't have a whole lot of those in my unit, but some units do. And you know why most of the time those units have complaints? Because they're not calling people back, they're not answering their texts, and they're not answering their emails. How professional do y'all think that is? It's not very professional. So like I said, every career you have, you're gonna find people that are not as professional as others. And that's the one thing that you always need to remember. Do your best and be professional.
Is there a need for more foster parents?
Oh, foster parent is, yes. As you guys get older right now, you just probably couldn't handle that responsibility. And I'm not saying that as a negative thing. It's just because you're young. When I was not y'all's age, I couldn't have been a foster parent either. But as you get older, yes, I think of the 30 kids that I have in one county, Morris County. I'm just using Morris County for example because I happen to know the numbers there. There's 6 kids that are placed in the county. That means all the other kids are placed somewhere else. Some of them are with relatives, and out of those, I think I have 2 foster homes in the whole county.
Which means they have to change schools, which is even more disruptive to their lives.
And every time a kid changes schools, they say it sets them back 6 weeks. Because you're especially if you're changing a lot. We have kids that are behind in school because they've moved, or before they became involved in the system, they really weren't doing a whole lot of school either. But foster parent, we're always recruiting for foster parents. That's not something I do. That's what the FAD worker I said. That's what they do. They recruit for foster parents. But I don't know. Right now, I can't remember how many kids they said in care. It's well over 100,000 kids that are in care in the state of Texas. I'm not sure how many of them are in foster homes, but I would say a great majority of those are not in foster homes. Are in foster homes, but a lot of them are in relatives' homes, and sometimes they're in RTCs because we don't have any place. And we also have emergency shelters. Sometimes we have to get kids in emergency shelters because we just don't have nowhere to go at the time. But I'm an advocate of foster parent because I was a foster parent. And like I said, I'm a very big advocate of adoption because I had 2 adopted children. Everybody asks me how come I haven't went to the adoption unit, because the supervisor job has been open a few times. And my answer is because the group of ladies that work under me, I don't wanna leave them, because they're so good at what they do. I don't wanna go somewhere else. I don't wanna leave even though it's harder work, you know, I don't feel like that's where God's called me. I feel like He's called me to be in the position I'm at, so.
Yes, and if you're surrounded by good people in your job, it's
Yeah,
very important.
Yeah. You know, and like I said, I can retire in 5 or 6 years. I don't know what I'm gonna do in 5 or 6 years I'm probably not gonna retire for 8 years, but my biggest thing right now is I've already started praying where the Lord's gonna lead me. Because guess what? He's not gonna lead me to sit home on a couch. It's not what He's gonna lead. He's gonna lead me to do something that's in some type of service field. Because there's so many needs for various different things.
How many of you are interested in a field that would be servicing others? I mean, you're a people person, you want to help others. Maybe you don't know what field yet, but you know you want to go into something helping others. Okay, good. It is rewarding, it's difficult because you go up and down with these people,
Yeah, it's emotional at times, it's difficult. I mean, we've had child deaths. The first week I started as a supervisor, we had a child death, and I'm like, whew, I don't know what I'm doing here. And the judge is like, look, it doesn't get any worse than this. And it was terrible. She was, I think 4 years old. But it was very emotional. And also, like our job, we also have free counseling. Like if we have needs, we can go to counseling, and that's not even reported to my supervisor. Or if my people need to go to counseling, it's not something that's reported to me. But there are people that do use that service because it can be emotional. This job can be very, very emotional. You have ups and downs, and sometimes you don't even agree with what the judge does. But at the end of the day, they have the last say. And that's what some people don't realize. We can make all the recommendations we want in the world, everybody's standing up there. At the end of the day, it's the judge. Sometimes they go against all of us because they just have something in their mind that they think is better. And sometimes they're right, I think, probably, and sometimes they're probably not right. But I can't go home and, I don't usually go home and dwell on that. I know that that's something out of my control. I try to control what I can control and the decisions I can control, and as well as the people under me. And I can't really worry about other decisions that are being made. But at the end of the day, my goal is to always do what's best in the best interest of the child.
Right, I've asked several questions. What questions do y'all have? Anyone? Are y'all having the after lunch hazy sleepiness going on here? I asked all the questions.
She asked some good questions. She asked some good questions.
So if we wanted to we were even considering this as a career, where would we start?
We have a website that you go to. It's a Department of Family and Protective Services website you go to, and that's how you have to apply. And when you apply for a job, you have to take some type of assessment. I don't remember what it is. Some type of little test. Some of it's grammar. Some of it's how you write. Different things, because we do a lot of writing. I mean, not technically, we do a lot of typing, but typing. Who in here don't know how to type? Everybody in here know how to type?
Yeah.
Okay. Typing is
type without looking at the keyboard?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I'll be honest with you. When I learned typing, you never looked at the keyboard, but now when I type, I'm always looking at what I'm writing, because everything I'm writing comes out of my head. I mean, it's not coming off something I wrote down. I mean, well, occasionally I'll take notes and write something down. But most part, it's just typing what's in my head, so you're able to look. But I mean, skill, I'll just tell you, I don't care what field you go into, y'all need to learn how to type. Because most of these fields up here, at some point in time, and you don't want to be the person over here doing this right here. Because we had somebody not too long ago that said he could type 50 words a minute. Guess what? It took him an hour to do something that should have took 10 minutes. But guess what? It eventually happened to that guy. They ended up replacing him because he couldn't be proficient enough. And you don't have to be just the greatest technology person, but and like I said, you just need to be able to use all your fingers. It is an important task, and you guys all know how to text, I know, so. And we do a lot of communicating with parents through text, but we try not to, because then you have to take that text and you have to put it over into something else, so, but sometimes it's just necessary because people run out of minutes and you gotta get hold of people. Technology is the best friend of us because if my computer's not working, guess what? I don't have nothing to do because everything I do is through is computer based. Now, we do have files that we keep, caseworkers keep files, with different things, medical, dental, court records, investigation records, school records, all that kind of stuff. That does go in a file, but I don't personally do that. Caseworkers actually do that, so.
What type of degree would you suggest?
I mean, if you're gonna go into to a CPS job, I would suggest probably a social work field because it gives you some experience. I would also highly recommend everybody in here, regardless of what field you go into, try to find somewhere where they do an internship. Because if you do an internship somewhere, you're gonna have a better chance to get hired when you get out of college now. It hadn't always been that way. It wasn't that way when I was in school. I did an internship, and that's how I got my first job, to be honest with you, and that was years ago. And now that's become a lot more prevalent. If you're gonna go into probation or something like that, I would suggest more of the criminal justice field. But criminal justice and sociology kind of run, you can kind of switch them in and out. I wouldn't say psychology degree unless you're gonna go get your doctorate, because it's not gonna benefit you anymore. But too, if you go into social work field, like if you get your you eventually, most social workers, like I'm not a social worker, so I don't have my master's degree because it doesn't benefit me because it's not in social work, but a lot of social workers get their master's degree and then they can do social work at other places like hospitals and nursing homes, and it just gives you more of a vast variety of what you can do. Like I said, when I graduated college, when I went to college, I was not, I mean, I had no desire to be a social worker, but if you are, it does kind of broaden your, what you can and can't do. I mean, because most hospitals have social workers.
Where is like they located, like the CPS?
So like every county, like Gregg County, their office is out on like Alpine Road, I think. Like I have an office in Dangerfield, which is where I'm housed. Every county pretty much has their own office. There's a few counties that don't, like Marion County. Do y'all know where Marion County, Jefferson, Texas? Marion County don't have a CPS office. The closest office to there is like Harrison County. But most of them are, a lot of CPS offices are in the Health and Human Services building, where you do Medicaid and WIC and food stamps. A lot of times they're housed in the same building. Sometimes they're not, but majority of the time they are. Because they're all state workers, like anybody that works for WIC or what am I trying to say? Food stamps and that kind of stuff. There's a program called DADS. They're all state workers. We're just under different umbrellas. So a lot of times they're housed together. We may not know what each other are doing, but I mean, and just like if you guys, like if you see me and you knew me and you know as a CPS worker and you wanted to call in a complaint, you called me. Guess what I have to tell you? Call the hotline. Because I can't do anything. I know it sounds crazy. I thought that was crazy when I first started. But everything has to be routed through the hotline because it's routed to certain people. Now, we will step in if there's an emergency situation. We had a situation at the school. My school was probably 2 years ago. And I just happened to be there for a football game. My kid was playing football. And the superintendent calls me and says, hey, we need you to come down here now. And she knew I had to school too. So I came down there now and I waited on. We made some calls and we waited on to the proper people could get there. I mean, that don't happen very often, but it does happen some. Especially when you're in small towns and everybody knows that you work for CPS. It's like you're the one CPS worker everybody knows, so that's who everybody calls. So. But you also, once if you go into that field, you're on call, but you're not on call all the time. It's generally at my unit, it rotates every a week. You're on, and then I'm generally on call once every 3 months. And my workers are on call right now I have 5 workers, so once every 5 weeks, and then I'm fixing to have 2 more, so it'll be once every 7 weeks. And when you're in the conservatorship, what I do, you really don't have a lot of calls. I mean, if you have a kid that runs away, they call and there's some paperwork you gotta do right then. Or if you have a kid that comes back from runaway, you have to find that child a placement, which we actually have people that do that too. like, it's like, you can't call me and say, I wanna be moved to such and such, cause I don't have any control of that. What I have to do is send in a request, say, I need a placement for this child's this old, where, you know, and all that, and give them all the information of the child, and then someone else tells me where we take the child.